We're live, but no,
There
it's
we are.
fine.
Okay.
We're waiting for everybody to stagger in. I'm sure everybody's like, "What's Trump's big announcement?"
Um, she said 2:15, so why don't we just do it at 2:15?
Yeah, we're on now, so we're good.
Oh, hey everybody.
Yeah, let's come in. I'll throw her
Oh,
in.
all right. We'll throw her in at 2:15. Hi.
How's it going?
Good. I'm sorry about missing Taco Tuesday last week. I was up in Boston. Have you been to Boston before?
I have been to Boston before. I've been to the
Okay.
Harpoon Brewery. I have
Oh.
not been to Fenway, but I want to go to Fenway. So,
I lived behind Fenway I'm a Yankee fan, so I lived behind Fenway for 4 painful years. Um And I remembered exactly why I hate Fenway so much. I was in my car. I was let me break this down. We had a bunch of teenage cousins visiting us from abroad. And so we went up to Boston because my son had to play squash up at Harvard for a few days, which is neither here nor there. So we decided to take them with us up to Boston.
yeah,
There were 3 girls, so they decided to go shopping on a street called Newbury Street, which is in the Back Bay of Boston. It's a good shopping street, and we were gonna pick them up, and take them to dinner, and I could not make a left for about 45 minutes right around Fenway. I'm like, "What the hell is going on at Fenway? There's no Red Sox game. What is going on? What is going on? Why is traffic shut down?" And eventually, I could not pick them up. I had to send an Uber for them to take them 3 blocks because I could not make a left because stupid Chris Brown was in concert at Fenway. And it reminded me again how much I hate Fenway. Like, it is I guess it is strategically located in the middle of the city, which makes
yeah,
it very convenient for people to go to, especially if you went to Boston University's I did. It's right there.
right.
But, like, it shuts d like, the minute there's something at Fenway, everything shuts down, like, you don't have that at Yankee Stadium. Things don't shut down. New York City doesn't shut down because somebody's a Yankee well, first of all, because we're the Yankees, we don't really have concerts that we allow to play at Yankee Stadium because, like,
Mhm.
come on, that's we have other arenas in which to do that kind of thing. Um, but yeah, everything
So,
shut down.
what I'm hearing from you is that the Yankees are not as important to New York for them to actually shut the city down or for the fans to go as in the Red Sox for Boston, who are
Wrong, wrong.
no,
The
that's what I'm
Yankees
hearing. That's what I'm
you're
hearing.
no, you're misconstruing. It is that New Yorkers have better things to do than to shut down an entire city because somebody like Chris Brown, who last time I checked may or may not have been involved in a few physical
Anyway, one or two.
altercations,
One or
one
two.
or two, with women,
Mhm.
that probably should not even be having him come back to Fenway. Like, I don't even know why Fenway's opening themselves up to somebody like Chris Brown, but okay, I get it. But actually, I don't get it. But I get if you're in Boston, like, the biggest thing that could happen to you is that if Chris Brown comes to town. But, like, in New York, we have other things going on. But my point is, if Chris Brown were to darken the doors of any sports arena in the greatest city in the world, it would not shut down the entire city because we got stuff going on here every single day that is bigger than any one event.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, you're talking about New York. You said greatest city in the world. I thought you meant Denver. So I just
Not the most stoned city in the world, the greatest city in the world.
fair enough.
Not not the city that has more cannabis stores per capita than Starbucks.
Fair
The
enough.
greatest city in the world, that would be New York.
Did you
Anyway,
hear what Deion Sanders recently said about Boulder? So they
no,
were
said
talking
it
to him.
yeah,
Yeah, they're
okay.
talking to him about the Buffaloes games, and they asked him. They said, "What is the thing that you that stands out to you the most about the fans in Buffalo?" He says, "It's the weed, man." He said, "I don't know what it is. It's like the sec.
In
It's like the
Buffalo?
sec. Yeah, in Boulder, right?
Oh,
Boulder,
Boulder.
Colorado. Yeah, the
Oh,
Buffalo games, the University of Colorado.
I think meant Buffalo, New
And
York.
and
Okay,
they
sorry.
said, "So what's the thing that stands out?" He's like, "It's the weed, man." He's like, "Something about the second quarter." He's like, "It's like everybody just collectively lights up," and then he's like, "You can just smell it rolling out of the stands."
If I were Deion Sanders, I would have paid a little bit more I wouldn't have been so cocky about my kid, and perhaps he would have been drafted by the Giants.
first of all, that the Giants, they don't make good moves.
That's true.
Let's just be
That's true.
honest.
I'm not gonna
That that
disagree with you
that
on that.
has more to do with their owner and less to do about Shador because they could have had a generational talent. Like even Cleveland doesn't know what to do with him. So
But nobody wanted Shador. Didn't Shador refuse to do the combine? I'm, by the way, quoting a
no,
Patriot.
he
No,
didn't he didn't need to do the combine because his numbers were good enough.
see,
Anybody
that's the kind of
anybody
arrogance that nobody likes. Nobody likes that. If you're playing a team sport, nobody wants to say you're too good to do the combine. Like, I'm sorry, Tom Brady did the combine.
and he was terrible and they drafted him 7th round. So,
Whatever, whatever.
like
The point is, it doesn't matter. Eli Manning did the combine. Didn't Eli Manning do the combine?
I don't know if he did or not. I don't think he did.
I
I
thought
think
he got it. You
no,
know what?
well, it used to not be this mandatory thing, and then what happened was like the agents and everybody blew it up. I know Dion did it, and but I'm not sure why Shador didn't do it.
Because I think he was cocky. I think he showed up was like, I'm Deion Sanders' son. I'm Shador. Take me. And then my little 13-year-old is watching this whole draft and he's getting all sad for Shador Sanders. He doesn't even like Shador Sanders, but he's getting sad that this kid is so excited every round that he's going to get drafted and he's starting to feel sorry for him. That's the worst thing that they did is
Oh,
make someone feel sorry for them.
I wouldn't feel sorry for him. I think like it's honestly the best thing that could have happened to him in a lot of ways because you are going to see a lot of these top draft picks are going to bust out because you have so many teams that are desperate for a quarterback. I mean, heck, you saw Arch Manning like fall flat on his
I
face
know, but that was just
against Ohio State this weekend.
I know, but that was one game. We like the Manning family around here, so we're not gonna trash the Mannings.
I like the Manning family too,
Yeah.
because
Speaking of, didn't he played for Colorado, didn't he?
he did. He played for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
A good football team, which I don't know if the Giants qualify anymore, or maybe you're thinking about being
Well,
a Jets fan.
when
You think
Eli
about
no, when Eli played, they were a good team. You're not gonna get me to defend the Giants. Listen, I get it. First of all, I don't even care. This is more the men in my house who are like, it's so sad. It's like Lucy. It's like speaking of football. It's like Lucy with the football. Every September they get excited. They know the football is going to be pulled away from them. They know Charlie Brown. Like they're like Charlie Brown. It's unbelievable. Like they know it's going to be pulled away from them, but they get all excited.
yep.
And I get excited for them because, and they all know secretly how it's going to turn out. So you're not going to get, they break the hearts of people I care about. I personally couldn't care less.
That's what the Giant. I mean, that's the thing is like New York is one of those places that man, their owners for their teams. It's like they really don't deserve. Like New Yorkers deserve better. Let's just be real.
Well,
Like they deserve better.
we had better. We had better with Eli
You
until
did.
2012. Until 2012, and I'm not really quite clear as to what transpired. They made some bad decisions. They don't. He didn't have anybody to throw to. I
No,
don't even
yeah,
know.
like well, you had Plaxico Burris who decided to do something very dumb in a nightclub, and you had situations to where it's just like, you guys beat the Patriots twice in a Super Bowl,
I
which is
know.
impressive.
I know.
I mean,
I know.
it's amazing, So,
I know.
I,
I know.
but I mean, it's like you guys have the Jets and the Mets and the Yankees and the Knicks and the Giants. You guys have like these iconic, storied franchises in arguably the greatest city in the world, and they're just trash. Like
Well, let's
it's
be very clear. Let's be very clear. New York only has one football team, and that's the Buffalo Bills, because everybody else plays in New Jersey. So I just want to be very clear.
Are you a Bills fan?
Not in the least, but I am a New Jersey
Wow.
fan. And I'm just going to say, as somebody who grew up in the Great Garden State, although I have not lived there
Florida Woman
for
Rants
many
is
decades.
probably somewhere jumping up and down. That's like she's on Opinionated Ogre, and she
Yeah.
loves the Bills. And I constantly trash talk her about that. I was like, the most famous thing for the Bills recently was Jason Kelsey showing up and taking off his shirt. So let's just be real.
It
Like
wasn't
it
Jason.
wasn't even your team. It was a fan it was an Eagles center in the stand. Go Birds.
All right,
Um,
Tracy Moran, go Eagles Thursday. All right, let me just say
Go Birds! Go
let me
Birds!
let me
Go
just let me just
Birds!
let me just say this because I grew up in a place called Narnia, otherwise known as Central New Jersey, and nobody acknowledges that Central New Jersey exists because you either have South Jersey where they all speak with weirdo accents and they sound like
Right.
they're, or you've got North Jersey, but Central Jersey where I grew up is like the promised land.
Yes.
And you know, half the people root for the Giants and half the people root for the Eagles. So I will just say this about the Eagles. I have never in my life seen more obnoxious, awful, misbehaving, obnoxious again fans than Eagles fans. Like, literally, my son was it last Christmas or 2 Christmases ago? I think it was maybe last Christmas. Went to an Eagles game with his little
Yes.
friend, right? So the friend is an Eagles fan. My son's a Giants fan. It was the Giants Eagles game. I don't remember if it was last Christmas or the Christmas before. He goes to Philly. It is Christmas, the season of joy and love. He's sitting in these little 2 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds, however old they were, not with the dad of the friend who's an
Yeah, yeah,
Eagles
yeah.
fan. They're sitting somewhere, and there's some guy sitting next to them, apparently, who is so wasted
Yeah.
that he tries to dive off of the thing onto the field, but he's so high up that if he were to succeed, he would have
Right.
died.
Well, yeah.
So people start pulling him back. And instead of being grateful these people saved his life, he starts punching them.
Well, yeah.
And they
Still,
get into a fist fight and they all get like I think people got arrested. And my little 10, 11, 12, however old he was, little boy and his little friend, who of
do you
course his
jump in?
dad
Do
of
they
course
jump in?
he didn't jump in because he's an innocent Giants fan now. I would say the other dad is doing a poor job raising his son to be an Eagles fan. So, but we're not gonna, whatever. That's a personal decision. Like, it's Christmas. Can you stop getting drunk and turning into fistfights for people who are trying to save your life? Like, what's the problem here?
First of all, that is a Christmas tradition, is to get in drunk and starts fights, okay? It goes all the way back to Saturnalia in Rome. And second
But
of all,
but it's fights when people are trying to save your
so
life. Like,
was this at the Meadowlands or was this at the Link?
no, of course this is that kind of behavior would not be condoned at the Meadowlands. Of course this was the link.
So this is at the Link. Okay. You got to understand something special about the Link. There's
They don't have a
literally a
jail. The Veterans Stadium had the jail. The link does not have a jail. That is I would
I
say that's a
know,
saying
but
though.
that's the tradition, the spiritual tradition of Philadelphia is getting drunk and punching people that try to help you. Like it I mean, if I mean, that's really what, like what is it? Grimy or whatever the mascot is of the Flyers.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
Philadelphia tradition. And it's one that after working there a year and a half, I came to love and respect. I remember I'd been out of Philly for like a year and I was going back for a Danzig concert. I was meeting up with some friends and I was in downtown and I had the green light and this car rips across the intersection around the red light, almost clips me, honks. And I look, it was this old sort of like it was like a '74 Thunderbird, right?
Okay.
Big old car. So this is like 2017. So I look, okay, and in the back window is like a 4-year-old boy who is absolutely not in a car seat, standing up and throwing up the double birds at me. And I was shocked for a second, and then I went, "Oh wait, I'm back in Philly. I'm home."
So we got to bring Michelle Kinney to this discussion. I can't invite her because it's your Substack.
Yeah,
So,
I'll invite Michelle.
all
So
right, cool.
I know we promised like Trump stuff, everybody, but
I know,
anytime
but
someone wants to talk about sports in Philly, I'm all for it. You know,
so I don't even know. I mean, Trump, like, is he
yeah,
alive?
yeah. Trump is just like, yeah, whatever. Like,
I guess he's alive.
I, well, we can all hope, for something to happen with Trump. I invited Michelle, so, but listen, like Philly is an interesting town and will always have a place in my heart. What I didn't realize was just how much It's Always Sunny is really imbibes that state.
Um,
It's like, okay. I was like, and I got like a sort of you know, a concentrated dose of Philadelphia working at Philadelphia International Airport for American
okay,
Airlines. Oh yeah,
okay.
I got a concentrated dose of Philadelphia. In the year and a half I was there, it's like because I dealt with Philly folks every day. And what's interesting is like we had Pittsburgh folks and I had Philly folks, and I could have a 1 minute conversation with a person, and I could tell whether they're from Pittsburgh or from Philly. It was like, oh, they must be from Philly. Okay, and it's like, oh, this person's from Pittsburgh.
I mean, I think I told you this. We have a house in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, yeah,
But it's not in Philly. It's kinda closer to, like, where Lehigh University is, and so
yeah.
it's like an hour maybe, north of Philly. And Pennsylvania, people forget Pennsylvania is I know it sounds really stupid to say, but it's like a massive state,
Yes, it is.
practically.
It's huge. Oh, it's
Yeah,
huge.
and it's totally different, like, it's completely different, and you go like, there's a guy living down the street from us who
Mm.
bikes up and down the main drag of the little town where we are, wearing head to toe, wraps himself in a Trump flag, head to toe Trump stuff, and has a little kid that he puts in the back seat of this bike, like a little like toddler, also wearing head to toe Trump stuff. And
That's child abuse. That should be
and
child.
and there's another guy who lives, I don't know if it's a guy, I've actually never seen who's in this house, but they live down the street from us and they have a sign that says, Jesus is my Lord and Savior and Jesus is my savior and Trump is my president. Which I
Yeah.
gotta say, like, really, dude? Like, if Jesus is your savior, like, you're putting Trump, like, really?
Yeah.
Like, it's not even a question of Trump or no Trump. Like, I wouldn't say this about Obama. I wouldn't say this about like, really? Like, the guy's a politician. Like, you're putting that. I mean, I'm not religious, but you're putting somebody on par with like Jesus, who's a politician.
Well, and this kind of goes to something bigger. I was talking about this. Like, I was at a meditation conference in Albuquerque this weekend.
At
I'm
a what?
driving
Meditation conference?
meditation conference. Yeah,
Wait, tell me more. Wait a second. This is interesting.
oh, okay. So it was a meditation conference in
By the
Albuquerque.
way, let me interrupt for a second. Lana, ew. Okay, keep going. Lana said Trump is like that juice that gathers at the bottom of the trash can. Ew. Okay, keep going about the meditation conference.
Yeah, man, she really shouldn't talk about New York sports teams like that. That's terrible.
All right. Okay.
No, so the VA, it's a by an organization called the Life Transition Center.
Okay.
It's hosted by a veteran whose name is Ralph Steele.
Okay.
He was a combat veteran in Vietnam, and he after that got into private psychiatry practice. After going through school, and
Okay.
he studied meditation and Buddhism, and went to Cambodia and Thailand, and lived as a monk for a little while. And so he
Okay.
helps veterans with PTSD. He helps children with behavioral issues, marriage stuff, and all that. And so he kind of puts this on, and it was for veterans. And so it was learning how to meditate using guided meditation, some yoga, and we did it was a 3-day conference or 2.5 days. And, we started on Friday evening, went to about halfway through yesterday, Monday. And I drove down. I was about a 6-hour drive from me.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I learned about guided meditation, and did some yoga, which I found out I desperately need with all the, it's funny because a friend of mine, I visited him in Albuquerque, and he had ripped his bicep, and I said, "How did you do that, man?" Like, and he just had knee surgery, and he said, "Well, I was hitting the heavy bag really hard, and I said, "Bro, we're in our 40s, like, we've got to transition out of all that like insane stuff. It's like we're looking at rowing and yoga and brisk walking. Like that's where we're at, bro. It's like we're not throwing the gloves on anymore and like tearing up the heavy bag because if we do, we're gonna tear ourselves up. That's where we're at. So, but it was
Wow.
good. So I
Are
did
you
some
are
guy.
you able to do it?
So the thing is with meditation, like the misconception I had with that is I thought it would be a sort of like a mental massage, like very relaxing, and it's not. It is very much like work. Um, and the thing that was interesting about it is having been like a caregiver for my mom and working and my mom and my sister, and then working in aviation and trying and starting my own, consult like my own entertainment business and all that other stuff is like for the past 5 years, essentially, I've been going like a million miles a minute. And Michelle Kenny's here.
Michelle Kenny's here.
Yay!
Hey, Michelle Kenny. Yay.
Hello, how's
So
everybody
we're
doing?
talking.
Fabulous.
We're
You
we
know, of
just finished. Frederick just finished trash talking New York sports teams. We're not going to get into
course.
that. But
What else would I
also,
do?
but
You know?
also, this is really cool. He's talking about how he went on a retreat, meditation retreat this weekend. Which
Oh, that's
have you ever
cool.
done meditation? I've never. So I want to hear.
Uh,
So go ahead. So you thought it was going to be. Frederick was saying
So
he thought
I,
it was
I
going to be.
thought I was telling her, Michelle, that I thought meditation. So I'd never done it actually, like, had someone guide me through it. And
yeah.
I thought it would be like this mental massage, like somebody massaging your
Oh
mind.
no, it's
And
work. Yeah.
yeah, it's absolutely work. And I realized just like all the stuff I was doing, how my mind is like always just kind of going a million miles a minute. And I'm multitasking and things like that serve me really well when I'm working. However, they don't serve me very well with like anxiety and other things. And so when I was like learning to focus, it's like my mind would be, "Hey, what about these other 5 things?" And it's like, "No, no, no, no. We're trying to sit here and we're trying to do this and just listen to your body." And it's like the thing that I had to learn about that was I don't give myself enough time to just kind of like give myself permission to be still.
Yeah. None of
Just
us.
Yeah,
and
none of us.
especially in the era of Trump and like because in a lot of ways, it feels like, and I wrote a piece about this a while ago about King Trump and why I think we're all waiting for stuff and we're all constantly looking at the news and everything else is we haven't even really healed from the pandemic yet. And Trump and all the chaos feels like we're kind of going through that again. Like day to day, we don't know what's going to happen.
It's
And
bringing a lot
so,
of stuff back up for sure.
yeah, and we don't feel like we can just sit and be like, oh no, I got to be on the news so I can figure out what's going on. I got to be doing this so I can see what's going on. It's like, is the world going to burn down and this and this? And it's like,
Yeah.
it is because a lot,
Hypervigilance.
yeah. And we're still there because
Mhm.
as a nation, we're all kind of his abuse victims
Yeah.
in a
And
large way.
it's even worse because you kind of think like, okay, I finally got rid of my abuser, and then he's back,
Oh
right?
yeah. He
Like
moved in next door.
he
You know
moved,
what I mean?
like you finally thought you were done with him, and now he's back. But I'm going to tell you guys a secret that I have. I don't know if anybody else in the chat wants to chime in on this. So I have tried meditating. I used to be really into yoga back in my
Oh
single
wow.
pre-child days. I used to be really, really, really into yoga.
That's like
And yeah, like seriously into yoga. And I thought meditation was the next step. And I tried and I tried and I tried. And the reality is, I just I tried, and I'm sure maybe there are people who could teach me how to do it, but I was never able to do it. However, what I have been doing about once a month the last X number of years is acupuncture.
Mm.
oh
And if
yeah.
you go to the right acupuncturist, it is like somebody kind of meditating for you in the sense that you're kind of lying on that table with all these needles in you,
You can't
and
move.
you can't move, and Michelle, you'll appreciate this. It's like a cosmetic acupuncturist. She puts it in my
Yeah,
fingers.
it feels very buzzy.
Yeah,
I was
right.
doing it. I was doing like, I mean, this is years ago. I was seeing like a fertility acupuncturist
Yep,
and like twice a week.
I did that
Um,
too.
yeah, and she was amazing, and I'd never done it before. It was recommended to me, and it was a really cool experience. I mean, buzzy, buzzy, buzzy all over.
So what's
Yeah.
so great is, like, I feel like I'm kind of floating, like you're kind of you're kind of
Mhm.
conscious, but you kind of it's what they tell you to do when you're able to do meditation, which I've never been able to do, but what I understand you're supposed to do, which is like a thought comes into your mind and you kind of let it just flow out.
That's
And
Yes.
you're kind of half awake, half asleep. You're kind of in the suspended state of being. And I always say this to my acupuncturist because I love her so much. Stephanie, if you're listening, Stephanie, I love you so much. And like, it's the best hour of my month. It's so good.
yeah.
If I could do it every single day, I would. I walk out of there like we're joking about, Denver and how people are stoned in Denver all the time. Pot's not my thing. I've never been into it. So
Yeah.
I've actually never gotten stoned, but I feel like you probably this is kind of the same feeling you have, at least for me, as I've understood it to be like when you're
Yeah.
pot.
I it like the guy who instructed who ran it, a gentleman named Ralph Steele for Life Transition Center based out of
Right.
Santa Fe. He he was like, it was interesting because one thing I liked about him, and he was able to be way more direct with all of us because we're all veterans, and
Mhm.
they were saying,
Yep.
well, what about this, and like how this technique of the mind, and he's just like, all I can tell you is it takes practice. It's going to take you at least 1,000 hours before you even get comfortable
Yeah.
with meditation. And I started totaling it up, and I'm like, oh wow, if you meditated an hour a day, you're looking at close to 3 years.
Yeah.
Right? And so the only time I got close to it was so I was like the final day, I'm messing everything. I wasn't able to do it, right? And I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna sit. I'm gonna close my eyes and just sit. And he was doing a chant, or we were doing a memorial chant for the fallen veterans. We had put
Mhm.
the names in their book, right? And um suddenly it's like, when you look behind your eyelids and it's black, but it's got the, because of the light fractals,
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
that, but you're seeing the backs of your eyelids. Like you're conscious of, these are the back of my eyelids.
Right.
For what, like for for like a few minutes, it was almost like I saw that blackness and I was looking at, it became like a horizon, right?
Mm.
Like I could see it stretch onward. And I just kind of felt my body, and I wasn't controlling my breathing. I just
Mm.
let my body do its thing. And then, I was like, oh, I just let it go. And then suddenly I was like, this is cool. And I lost it.
Yeah.
As soon
Well,
as I
that's
thought it was
right.
cool, I
As soon
lost
as
it.
you
It was
have
like,
it.
As
oh,
long as you have it, you could get it back.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think it takes practice, like from what he was saying. Like, he's like, I didn't really get good at meditation until after like 10 years.
Mm.
And it was dope because we talked to another veteran who'd been doing it for 40, and he actually had studied and meditated with Ram Dass.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, yeah. So we talked to him, and and he was telling us about like how he got into it, and he's like, yeah, I got kicked out of the military, and I got into surfing, and I met Ram Dass, and I'm like,
Okay,
Sounds
cool.
dude,
exciting.
you're like, this is super cool. It's like, he
Yeah.
was like, yeah, I trained in special forces, and I mouthed off to a commanding officer, and then I just served some time in the brig, and I got kicked out. I was like, okay. I was like, this is
Um,
dope.
so Tracy Moran, I will forgive you for your disgusting comment before about the bottom of whatever Trump is, but,
Oh, I
do I
missed
ask for
that.
do I oh god, yeah, some well, do you ask for specific acupuncture? So I always ask, I'm a horrible sleeper, like, I can't sleep well at all, so I always just
Yeah,
ask
you're
for
really bad about the sleep.
I'm really bad about the sleep. Michelle knows because sometimes I
Same.
2 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I just ask her to do whatever it takes to let me sleep for an hour, and
Mm.
she just does she's amazing. But she actually the woman, in fact, we're gonna have her, come
Have you
on.
have you been checked for sleep apnea at all?
Yeah, I definitely don't have sleep apnea. I
Okay.
just you know what it is? I have an easy time falling asleep. I have a very
Yeah.
hard time staying asleep, and it's not because of anything physical, it's because my mind starts, like, I
Mm.
always kind of, like I'll think of something that I forgot to do, or I'll wake up I guess it's like anxiety, except I'm not particularly anxious, but I guess maybe I am because I like
You know what'll help with that?
what? Yeah, I'm like kind of a
meditation.
meditation.
Mindfulness. Mindfulness. You know what it is for me? Because again, like living in New York, right, is
Yeah.
you don't realize how much living in New York just kind of exists under the asphalt of your body and your brain. You become accustomed to it, and then you don't realize that the sirens and the noise and the people and all these things, become part of you, and then for myself, I find it start to build up.
Yeah.
And that's when I know that I have to go take a break. And sometimes that means I gotta leave and like go to my parents' house for a week or like upstate or something like that. And some of it is mindfulness. I mean, there's a great line in Eat, Pray, Love, the movie and the book, obviously, when she goes to India and the white guy, whatever she meets there, he says, you got to pick out your thoughts every day like you pick out your clothes. And I always think about that, like how we have the power to choose our thoughts and to choose the things that go through our mind. Like we do have that power and control. It's just about having the skills and the tools to be able to do that. And that, to your point, takes years.
Yeah, I was kind of the problem I had with Eat, Pray, Love is I felt like it was false advertising because
It absolutely was.
Well, yeah, I expected this like Caligula orgy with food, and I didn't get that. I mean, it's right in the title. No, sorry.
I never read it. I never saw the movie.
Oh, the movie's great. I thought the movie
was it Julia Roberts? Is that who's in the movie?
Yep.
Yeah. You know my problem is with Julia Roberts? It's the same problem I have with Tom Cruise. Well, it's different than my problem with Tom Cruise, but generally speaking, watching Julia Roberts movies or Tom Cruise movies, they're so famous that I can't suspend my disbelief.
Really?
Nope. Like they're always like, oh,
really?
there's Julia Roberts pretending to be Erin Brockovich.
Seriously?
There's Julia Roberts pretending to be a prostitute.
See,
like, yeah.
Like,
and she's a good actress. It's not a quality.
She's great.
It's not that she's not a good actress. It's same with Tom Cruise. It's like, there's Tom Cruise pretending to be a spy.
I don't think Julia Roberts gets enough credit, honestly.
I agree.
And she's very, very famous. She gives, I mean, I don't know if you know this about me, Frederic, but I have a BFA in like theater and stuff. So, I remember we talked about her a lot in class and like how much she gives to the other people in her scene. And like, she just gives and gives and gives, like as an actor. And watching her, I love her. And one of my favorite movies, I think I've seen it 1,000 times. I am not exaggerating. It's My Best Friend's Wedding. I watch it when I'm on a plane. I watch it when I'm sleepy. I watch it when I'm happy. It's just, I love that movie and she's great in it. She's just great.
You know what? And I watched that movie and I thought, oh, there's Julia Roberts pretending that she's not cool enough to get a guy.
What is with the bias here against?
I know. I can't. It's not a bias against her. It's the same problem. Well, Tom Cruise, I just don't like. Period. But like,
he's nuts. So that's different.
Yeah, but like, she's just so famous, and I guess because she and I are, I guess she's a little older than me. But like, I was
like 60, I think.
Is she really that old? Oh wow, she's much older than me. Okay, but I guess because.
Mystic Pizza tomorrow. That's right.
Mystic Pizza. Like I was in the theaters when Mystic Pizza came out, right? Like I was in the theaters when Pretty Woman came out. So like to me, like she's just always been Julia Roberts, and I can't, except for maybe Mystic Pizza, which I saw in the theater before she was famous. But like other than that, she's just always been Julia Roberts. Maybe Pretty Woman too, but after Pretty Woman, for sure, she's always been Julia Roberts because she was so famous. I don't know why. It's just what is going on with Puff? Did he do something excellent?
I can't. I mean, I can't. Julia Roberts isn't like one of my like favorite actors, but I can't co-sign that, man. Like she plays different. Like he plays different roles, man. I can't.
I won't put her.
I mean, I get what you're saying that you can't suspend disbelief, but like, so I'll just put it out there. Like, funny enough, I've never seen My Best Friend's Wedding. I've just never had the urge to see it. However, my favorite Julia Roberts movie is Notting Hill. So
see, great, fantastic. I love that movie too. Hugh Grant.
Nope.
Nope.
What do you mean no? What do you mean no?
Okay, I'm gonna say why no. I'm gonna say no because Hugh Grant was my boyfriend during 4 Weddings and a Funeral. He doesn't know this, but we had a very serious relationship circa the mid-90s when he was in 4 Weddings and a Funeral. And
Wait,
that's
wait,
just
wait,
all
wait,
there
wait,
is
wait.
to it.
Hold up. Are you serious? Like you dated Hugh Grant?
In my mind, not in reality.
Oh, okay.
In
I was like,
reality,
post Elizabeth. God, what was her name?
Elizabeth Hurley, no.
Yeah, I was like,
In reality, I was a Yankee fan living behind Fenway Park at the time. But
you
but in
had me
my
to
mind,
go there for a minute. I was like,
but
really?
in my mind, Hugh Grant and I were in a very serious relationship. And I'm sorry to my boyfriend at the time who probably did not know that I was cheating on him in my mind with Hugh Grant. But
You're having an
but
emotional affair.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't emotional. But just kidding. But basically,
I'm learning more
after
about you every day, Julie.
but
Every
then
day.
I just come on, Hugh Grant in 4 Weddings and a Funeral was like the
Oh,
guy.
he's great. Annie McDowell's fantastic.
Yeah, but then he kind of played the same guy in
Oh, he
Notting
does.
Hill.
But it's
And
hilarious.
and then I was like, I can't suspend my disbelief because I saw you playing this guy in 4 Weddings and a Funeral, and Julia Roberts, you're not playing some woman named Anna, whatever her name was. You're playing yourself. You're Julia Roberts.
Wait, Anna?
That's what Anna was something like Bowers. I
Yeah.
can't remember. But the
Yeah.
point is, like, that's the problem. The problem is that, and Kevin Cox, you're from Camden Town, so you're not far from Notting Hill. But so I would say that it's that Julia Roberts played herself. That's what I'm saying. Notting Hill is the definition of me not being able to suspend my disbelief.
I disagree. I disagree. And I think that there are actors that kind of, no, I don't want to say one note, but they certainly, they have a narrow framework of the kind of work that they can do. And I think that's okay because I think that sometimes just like their like demeanor and whatever they are just can carry a film. And I mean, like Michael J. Fox is like one of them. Who else? Owen Wilson. I mean, everything that Owen Wilson does, he's the same dude. And I'm like, I'm fine with it. Luke Wilson too. And like, that's fine. But you know, then Daniel Day-Lewis, okay, is crazy. Like he's a method actor and he's nuts and he turns himself into like Abraham Lincoln. So like,
Yeah.
he's like, don't tell me
Gary
anything
Oldman.
that
Yeah.
right. Yes. Yes. And Philip Seymour Hoffman was method too.
There's another one too.
Yeah.
I love. It's funny. I reference Charlie Wilson's War so much, and
Aaron Sorkin.
my dad was a federal employee, right? In
Mhm.
that time, like pretty high up, like, and the way they did that scene where he's in the office with I can't remember the actor's name. He was eventually on Mad
John
Men.
Slattery.
Yeah,
John Slattery.
so they're doing that scene, and they're referring to the other employees, like where it's like Gail. They're saying Gail so and so, like Gail Johnson,
Yeah.
like her first and last name. That's exactly how federal employees talk for my dad. Like they say that, like where it's title, first and last name. And so the way they're going about it, and the fact that the guys from GSA fixing the
Yeah.
window, and I'm like, whoever did this nailed this scene
Aaron
for
Sorkin.
exactly how federal
Was that
employees.
Sorkin?
Yes, Aaron Sorkin wrote Charlie Wilson's War. Same thing. I mean,
He nailed it.
he does his research. Like he knows what it's the same kind of language, right? That he wrote for
West Wing.
well,
Well,
West Wing
and
too.
he, but that one,
for what's it called?
A Few Good Men. A Few Good Men.
but in that one, he kind of resisted his like Sorkiness, where he kind of really elevates the. Like Tarantino does the same thing where you're not like they don't write how people talk. They write beautifully, and it's great dialogue, but it's not how people talk.
Right.
But where with that scene and a lot of Charlie Wilson's War, he kind of wrote how those people would talk, but it's elevated just a touch. So it makes it much more believable.
Yeah.
It grounds it more in reality. Like, and, because my dad worked in that world and he would come home and him and my mom would chop it up. And, a lot of times I was like, as they were talking about work, I'm in the other room, or sometimes like I would just be like out of the way under the table, just listening to them. And it brought me back to that place of like, this is how they were back then. this is the kind of conversation like, well, like Malcolm so-and-so from the counting and this part, he said this and it's a bunch of crap and blah, blah, blah. And so I loved it.
Yeah,
I
it's a
one of
great
my
movie.
favorite, and then he's got the Zen Master speech, which I reference like all the time.
Mm.
So let's do this since we're all waiting to see if Trump's going to come out and like, I'm going to die in 10 minutes. If it's not that, I'm
It's
going to be
about Space
disappointed.
Well,
Command. It's about
apparently,
Space Command.
yeah, but apparently Trump was on Scott Jennings' show today. Did anybody even know that Scott Jennings had some radio show? I
He
guess
has a show?
unlike some of
Haven't
the
we had enough?
yeah. Yes, we have had enough.
We've had enough of useless white men. I'm telling you that right
Well,
now.
we've had
I've
enough
had
of
enough
Scott.
of it.
We've
You
had
know,
enough of Scott Jennings for sure. But apparently
I know you.
Trump apparently went on a show, I guess, because Scott Jennings is probably like begging everybody and their mother to get him on. And
He's like, Daddy,
apparently,
come on my show, Daddy.
yeah, exactly. And apparently, I will abase myself for you every day, Mr. President, and throw away everything I've ever said about you. But apparently he sounded awful from what I'm seeing on Twitter here.
Well, I mean, that's what happens.
He's
That's what
dying.
happens when you have a stroke. I mean, not have a stroke.
He's dying. Like, I'm sorry, but I resisted saying that, outright before, but I've spoken to people in the medical field. I've spoken to people who've lost parents to congestive heart failure. I had a grandfather who had mini strokes, several, towards the end of his life. And I know at least what I have seen, and there is some sort of combination of that happening. And for them to just gaslight the American people about this, there is a massive cover up happening inside the White House. Massive.
Well, and it
it
wouldn't be the first time,
No, of course not. I mean, please.
Woodrow Wilson's wife basically ran the government.
Yes,
He was laid
but
up.
he's also
Reagan.
Reagan was the same way. Well, and Eisenhower too. A lot of people don't know that, where he had a heart attack that they covered up. He had his bladder replaced, and there was one other operation he had while he was in office. So Eisenhower had
and
3 episodes.
And Kennedy with the Addison's disease and the shots, the plasma shots that he was putting.
Yeah, weren't they putting like his medicine in safety deposit boxes like all over the country, so like they would be able to pick it up and like they would never be on the plane and the whole thing.
Yep.
And the thing with Wilson too, which it's to kind of bring us back to like a public health thing with what we're going on. What's going on here is like at the beginning of the 1918 pandemic, Wilson reacted very similarly to Donald Trump as like people that were in the center of it, that were, what was it, Kansas, Oklahoma, something like that. So where they actually think that it started, not in Spain. And they were writing to the president saying, like, this is happening. People are getting really sick. And he was like, no, that's not happening. No, no, no. And people started dying, like young people. And it wasn't until things got really, really bad that he even addressed it. And then, of course, the war was going on. And then you had, boats full of people coming on and off, from shores. And right when he was over there, he caught it. And he caught the flu and it messed up his brain.
Yep.
And it disabled him for the rest of his life.
Well, and his wife, Edith, was basically running the government. But I will say also, apparently, Donald John Trump is 45 minutes late to his own press conference, which is not inspiring conviction or belief that he's not sick. And our friend Jojo from Jurors just made a very good point on Twitter as I was just seeing what's going on, where she said if every single White House reporter does not ask him why he's been not taking questions for the last week, they're going to be really missing the plot here. And she's absolutely right, because the reality is that where's Jake Tapper, by the way?
Girl.
He's probably writing a book about the White House's cover up of Obama not quitting smoking. And so that's the kind of breaking news that he does. So,
I did a whole thing on my Instagram last night about this, like a whole carousel of shit. And I was like, where's Jake Tapper with his book and around the clock coverage of asking about Donald Trump's health and whereabouts? Next thing, where's George Clooney? Where is your full page op-ed in the New York Times asking him to resign? Like all these people. And then like the next thing, and like not to get into the whole Gaza thing, but it's like, oh, Trump's plans for Gaza is basically to build like hotels and shit on the rubble. And I'm like, hello, Kamala and Trump are the same. No, they're not. And it's just like, this is where I'm like, you're killing me. You're all killing me. And like, it's like we're walking like slow motion into like a car wreck. It's and watching all these people be complicit in our own downfall is just honestly.
I think so. Here's if there's a silver lining to be found, and this is me not. I'm really not trying to sound like a copium or hopium kind of guy.
Never
I
again.
think I think once Trump is gone, when he leaves office, I'll leave it at that. I think which is going to be much sooner rather than later.
I agree.
I think this entire political movement collapses because MAGA is absolutely 100% a cult of personality. And the interesting thing, I was talking to a buddy of mine yesterday, and we were chopping it up, and the thing that's happened in a lot of like get George W. Bush collapses the economy, gives the banks and everybody like a golden parachute before Obama takes office. Obama takes the blame. Right. So Democrats have to they're hamstrung by corporatists, sure, but they take the blame.
I'll say this: Obama. I was there. I was there for this.
He could have done more.
Obama could have thrown a hostage on the tarmac and indicted somebody just to show that he was serious, and he didn't do that.
I think, and historians will absolutely debate that fact. I'm not saying you're wrong. I agree with you. It's one of those things that he should have. How that would have worked out, we'll never know. But I think you're right. But the thing was, the problems from the George W. Bush administration got pushed on to the Democrats. Come out with COVID, like all the inflation, everything Biden did, they got pushed on to Biden. What's going to happen soon with these tariffs and the things that Trump has done? If he dies, let's say in the next or resigns for health reasons in the next couple months, when this hits, the next person, which is likely JD Vance, is going to take that blame because his cult is going to say, if Trump was in there, he would handle this. You can't. I think that will happen. They will not have the Democrats to blame on this time because it is going to come faster than anyone anticipated.
I don't disagree.
Can I give you my dark theory on this? Because
go for it.
I ran this past a friend yesterday. Now, strap in because I don't know if this is true, but this occurred to me yesterday. So I guess because I come from a country that is, you always assume the worst. You had somebody like Vladimir Lenin, who was this very inspirational figure to his base, for lack of a better description of his followers. And then you had somebody like Joseph Stalin, who was like a guy who then, after Lenin's death, after a while, seized power. So let's use Trump as the Lenin analogy, and let's use Stalin as the Vance analogy. What is to prevent Vance from just seizing power? And I mean in the worst way possible, so that Congress will be cowed because Congress will be arrested if they're not cowed. And Congress won't even say anything because, to be perfectly frank, Congress wants to keep the gravy train going because they're in power, right? The Supreme Court, scared out of their wits, wants to prevent him from sending good old Pete Hegseth over there with a band of military people to say, hey, either you guys rubber stamp what I want or you're not going to be around much longer. Because J.D. Vance is controlled by the very worst people on earth. J.D. Vance, Michelle talks about this all the time. Curtis Yarwin, who thinks we should all be used for biofuel.
Peter Thiel.
Right?
Yeah.
Like J.D. Vance is an avatar, and those people control information right now. They do. Like the mainstream media is not keeping up with what social media is keeping up with, which is the algorithms and AI, which is about to make disinformation all that much more prevalent.
Mm-hmm.
And, when you're looking at it that way, I think in some ways JD Vance, like Trump is mentally ill. But
Yes.
JD Vance is not mentally ill. JD Vance is he's frightening. Well, he's not in that way. I know what
Not
you're
in the
saying.
way Trump is.
Not in the way Trump is,
different
right?
way.
Yeah.
Different way.
I mean,
I
he's
do think there's-
rational. Let me say that
Yeah.
JD Vance is rational. Trump is irrational, right? Trump
Yes.
is all
He's
ego.
reactionary, and
Yeah.
JD Vance was calculated.
Right. So, so my fear is that JD Vance, in some ways, if we're looking for like the authoritarianism that will come, JD Vance, in some ways, is even more dangerous than Donald Trump. And as much as everybody here is sitting around waiting for the moment that Donald Trump is no longer with us, I don't know that JD Vance is better. In fact, I think JD Vance may, and the argument is may, be worse.
So you go. You launch, Michelle.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
So I think you're both right. I think that these are just different paths, right? These are just possibilities. There's going to be a huge vacuum for power, right? When Trump is gone. And this is why, and I'll bring this up just in passing, okay? And I only saw this because somebody in the Daily Beast wrote about it.
Yes.
Somebody I used to work for wrote a Substack about the inner circle in the White House.
Okay.
And how there's a very small circle of people who really know what's going on, and that JD Vance is making moves behind the scenes trying to wield power, okay? Now, I read about this Substack being written in the Daily Beast, knowing the person who wrote it, like the original Substack. And I know who his people are that he's talking to. Like, I know this personally because of my job. And I'm telling you, for however I feel about where I used to work, this isn't bullshit. Like, I know who he knows inside the White House. Like, I know. And whoever is giving him the information is not bullshitting. Like, this is, and it's close. It's close to the top. So, I'll say that. But the other hopeful thing that I will say, and it's like the only thing that I really find hopeful about this, is that JD Vance is a completely unlikable person. He has absolutely no political chops whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And here's just like a brief summary of JD Vance and Peter Thiel. JD Vance, comes from Appalachia, I guess, kind of, but like he really, in the hillbilly elegy thing, you'll talk to people who are from there, and maybe some of this was exaggerated. So he goes to Yale Law School. He meets Peter Thiel when he's at Yale Law School. He takes the bar, I think, in Ohio or something. Peter Thiel, whatever, they strike up some sort of friendship. I don't know. And he says, hey, come work for this venture capital firm in California. I know this guy. He goes and works for him. He eventually is like, listen, I can't have JD Vance around here anymore because, or whatever his name is at the time, James Bauman. Because, by the way, he's had like 4 legal names. People don't know this. He doesn't really do any work. I can't have him around here. So he kind of lets him go. So Peter Thiel's like, okay, here's a bunch of money. You start your own firm. And he does. And he names it Naria, which is basically Aryan with the letters mixed around, and that tanks. That doesn't do well. Imagine that. Because JD Vance is lazy. He's lazy and he's a freeloader and he's never worked for anything. Ever. He has people hand him things, and Peter Thiel has handed him everything. In fact, then the next move he makes, Peter Thiel walks him into Donald Trump's office and says, here's this guy. We're going to run him in Ohio for Senate. Gives him $15 million to a PAC. Now, there was an FEC violation between the PAC and the campaign, which I'm sure nothing happened because no one ever does anything with FEC violations. I just feel like they just kind of float into thin air. But they were doing coordination, which is illegal. And JD Vance wins the Senate seat by a thin margin.
Yes.
And then he becomes vice president because the Heritage Foundation plucked him, and because Peter Thiel told them, here, this is the person I need you to make him second in command, knowing full well that Donald Trump is unwell. So, yes. But are the people around JD Vance movers and shakers and know what they're doing? Yes. JD Vance, though, he's ambitious.
Oh, wow.
But he's lazy.
I hope he didn't freeze.
Oh, you're frozen, but we're okay.
Oh, yeah. He's
Yeah.
lazy. He's just lazy, lazy, lazy. And I don't know, and a lot of people don't like him. Like all the people in Congress and the people who work for him, no one likes JD Vance. And so that is another good thing because everyone that is acting and cowering in fear
No.
is against Donald Trump. They're afraid of Donald Trump, of what Donald Trump is going to do. I don't think that people are afraid of JD Vance. And so I think that people will have more courage to start leaking and talking about what was going on in the administration, what was going behind the scenes. So I agree with both of you and I disagree with both of you. I think that there's in maybe somewhere between the three of us is something. I don't know. But, you know, he's a completely unlikable person and he's a freeloading fraud. So
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know what just happened. We
I
just
don't know
lost
either.
Frederick, but we can continue talking about this for a little
Is my
bit.
camera doing this weird thing?
No, I don't see your camera
Oh,
doing a weird thing.
okay. I'm like
Um,
looking at myself and it's doing like it's like flipping back and forth. Oh God, that is like really weird to look at. Anyways, yeah,
well, we
that's
could also wrap this up because Frederick decided to bail on us, and we've all been at it for about an hour.
maybe
So,
he can come back.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know, Julie. I think that JD Vance is not I think he's terrifying in a lot of ways, but I think also in another like just watching him run at Disneyland, I'm just kind of like
Well,
really?
I'm going to say this, and this is the only thing I would say that should scare people. He's unlikable, and people may not vote for him, but we're assuming that there's going to be
Yeah.
fair elections.
Well, that's the other part of this. I mean, we're talking about scenarios in which our election process continues on how it has for the last however many, 100 years. Um, if it doesn't, then this is a new reality.
Yeah.
So
Um. Um.
childless cat ladies. People should stay in abusive marriages. I mean, JD Vance has some pretty out there points of view, but again, like I don't even know that they're his points of view. Like he just became a Catholic in 2019 and like was recruited by Opus Dei people. Like again, like I can't emphasize enough. He's had like four legal names.
I mean, yes, my fear is we're living in a convergence of tech, AI,
Mm-hmm.
them controlling the military. I mean, all the,
Theocracy.
you know, them looking to pick up 5 more House seats in Texas. I don't think all 5 are gonna go Republican, by the way, but that's a whole different story. A few more here, a few more there. Like, all the
Yeah.
ingredients are there for an authoritarian, um,
Takeover.
takeover, and that's terrifying.
I mean,
On
but
that
California, how many would California pick up? Because I don't know
California,
what
look,
the
it's
Jews
5,
do.
right? 5
Okay.
5 in California, 5 in Texas. That would, I guess, try to even each
What
other
about
out.
I mean, I think New York, there's a lot of possibilities.
New York, if they actually do it, but New York probably is not going to, um I'm not sure if New York's gonna be able to get it done for next year,
Why?
because they have to change the Constitution, and I don't know that she's moving to do that for this cycle.
Hmm.
Whereas California is, and New Jersey can't do it for this cycle, it's too late, so they're gonna have to wait. They have 1 seat they could pick up. Maryland can do it without a constitutional change. I mean, there are certainly, um there's certainly opportunities there for different seats, but at the end, the Republicans have more room to maneuver than Democrats do because Democrats decided to do the right thing and have a constitutional convention
Hmm.
that they have to basically not constitutional convention, they have to change the constitution in a lot of these states. New York, New
Right.
Jersey, I believe Illinois, California, which is the right thing to do because gerrymandering is the antichrist. But
No, it's
you know,
terrible, but at the same
but
time,
yeah,
it's like, what do
yeah.
you, I mean, like you gotta do something and you gotta fight fire with fire is what everybody's saying. And
Yeah, the
I mean,
problem is they can do it quickly for next year, and we
yeah,
can't. And don't forget, the reason he wants the House now
is
is because
because of
it's
impeachment and
no, it's
certifying the elections.
certifying the election. The House certifies. That's what it is. In 2028, don't forget, the House gets sworn in early January.
Right.
Because the president doesn't get sworn in until January 20th, so it's the new house that has to certify, not the old house, and that's a problem. So if you live in California, I know that Charlie Munger Jr. and Arnold Schwarzenegger, for all very good idealistic reasons, want to keep the current system in place. We don't have time for that now. It's like saying everybody else is getting nuclear weapons, but we don't like nukes, so we're gonna, we're not gonna do that. I mean,
Well, it's like your house is on fire, and like you're like, oh, should we install some more smoke alarms? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like it's dumb, and it's also there's this earnestness that kind of comes from our side that is just completely weaponized against us and has been weaponized against the United States, has been weaponized against democracy in every way possible, and we're so behind. And that's why, again, we're trying to do these lives. We're doing more shows. We're trying to pick up more podcasts because it is so important that there are more voices that are speaking the truth, speaking plainly, speaking in support of the Constitution. All of these things are very, very important. And there's the algorithm. So when we talk about tech, the algorithm is stacked against us.
Yeah.
So there has to be even more of us, and we're already so behind. So like, we talked about, I was at Gloria Steinem's apartment like a week ago, and I was like,
oh, Michelle just casually dropped that. Also, I was hanging out at Gloria Steinem's apartment the other week.
I mean, it was like an event. It was Persist and Emerge. We're putting on this event, and there was probably
Michelle, not to brag, but Michelle's going to be hanging out at my apartment later this week. So
it's very true, and I'm going to be telling everyone about it.
So next week when we're doing the show, Michelle.
Wait, Frederic, he just said nice. Should I bring him back in? How do I do that? I don't know.
Frederic, it's your Substack. So I don't know how we bring you back in. I think we just took over your live. But anyway, we will keep.
Anyways, yeah. So I was at this small event in Gloria Steinem's apartment. It was all women. It was really amazing. And like we talked about the power of media, and why it's so important to democracy, to women. It's very important to us because, with this greater, bigger fight happening, again, women in authoritarian regimes, women are often the first to be attacked and the first group of people to have their rights taken away, as we can see.
Right.
But also we get left by the wayside. People forget about us and we forget about ourselves. Women, we are notorious for, taking care of everyone else before we take care of ourselves. And it's happening again. And women are dying. Women are dying every day in this country because of it.
Yeah. I mean, listen, all I'm going to say about all of this is to what Frederic said earlier, which is find joy wherever you can.
Oh,
and if it means doing what I do with acupuncture once a month, or it's Frederic going to a meditation, or Michelle, it's you.
Or watching my best friend's wedding
watching your best friend's wedding time. or me making fun of Michelle for watching your best friend's wedding for the third time.
It's so good. Don't knock it. And do you know there's actually, just really quick, there is a deleted scene from my best friend's wedding, and it's on YouTube, and I'm going to send it to you. And she meets someone at the wedding. And they decided to cut it out because they were like, no, she doesn't need to meet a man. She can just go on like living her life. But she meets a guy played by John Corbett from, Sex and the City, Northern Exposure and stuff.
When Harry Met Sally, Frederick's dead on best romantic comedy of all time.
1,000%. Nora Ephron, I mean,
nothing even.
Rob Reiner, forget it. Yeah.
By the way, the sequel to the best movie ever made after Casablanca is coming out, I think, in a couple of weeks, called the sequel to Spinal Tap. This is Spinal Tap is coming out. And I'm going to be there so hard.
Is Michael McKean in it?
Who? Michael McKean?
Yeah.
Of course. All of them.
Yeah, it's all just all of them. Okay.
All of them. All of them.
Yeah, I need a sequel to Waiting for Guffman, which is my favorite.
I know, but no, Spinal Tap is like my as a rock and roll girl. Spinal Tap is my love it.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we should liberate Frederic Substack since he's no longer with us, and I think we should give it back to him. Kevin, if you've never seen Spinal Tap. You
Oh,
should
you
go.
gotta see it, Kevin. You gotta see it.
You should go watch The Song Remains the Same, which is the Led Zeppelin concert movie, and then you should go watch Spinal Tap to see what, and also watch the band.
You know what? Just really quick, let me grab this. Hold on. Where is it? Here it is. I wanted to know, have you read this book yet? I just want to ask you quick while I have you here. Have you read this book yet?
The Illegals?
Yeah.
Russia's, I can't see. Russia's what? Russia's most
audacious.
Oh, about the spiring? Please, I could write that book.
It is like meticulously researched. On like page 3, my jaw on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I loved The Americans, obviously, which was based on.
That's what that's based on.
I know.
Yeah.
And like, guys, you got to pick this book up. It's so good.
Should we do a book club for people in Substack?
Ooh. I'm a very slow reader because I have ADD, but I'm happy to participate as much as I can.
Does anybody want to do a book club?
Yeah, Frederic says yes. Yes, I'm in. Yes, we're getting lots of yeses. That would be good.
All right. What's this book called?
The Illegals.
Russia's most audacious spies. Okay.
This
how about
book
this?
Is so good.
Okay.
Like, I cannot put it down.
Let's do this. Why don't we all go buy this book?
Yeah.
And maybe do a book club on it? How long people drop?
I need like a month.
No. We'll do like we'll meet like we'll meet once a week and we'll read like I don't know 2 chapters a week or something.
Yeah. I mean, I'm down.
Okay, can you put in the chat? Can you put what it's called so everybody gets it?
Sure.
Just
give me uno momento. Here, hold on. Let me because I gotta pick it up and type with my thumbs here. The Illegals, as you look at my ceiling when I'm doing this, Russia's most audacious spies and their century-long mission to infiltrate the West. Sorry for typos.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. The 3 of us are going to get together after this, figure out when we could do a little book club thing. I'm going to put it into my subs, like, I'll promo it in the next week. And maybe we could figure out, like, well, we'll just
and listen, I think we should reach out to Sean Walker and see if he'll come on and talk about it, because I'm sure that there is no better time or more important time for, I think, Americans to really understand this, because I feel like we're so isolated and sort of sheltered here that we don't realize. I mean, because you know Russia stuff and you're Russian, but it like the long game and the self-sacrifice that is required for this, for the motherland, Americans have no idea. Like we have no idea. And it's
you guys. First of all, when I was little, I used to, in the back of my mind, have this fear that my dad was one of these people. P.S. He's not. But I always was like in the back of my mind, I was like, what if we're just pretending to be Russian dissidents? What if my dad really is a Soviet spy? If my father's watching right now, he's so mad at me. So I'm sorry. But you have a big imagination when you're little. But yeah, it's a huge deal. Well, did you ever read a book called The Charm School? Did anybody here read a book called The Charm School? Okay, that's a fiction book by a guy named Nelson DeMille, who just died. Nelson DeMille is a great fiction author. And Nelson DeMille, like, I want to say in the 80s, maybe wrote a book called The Charm School. That was fiction, but it's all about how the Soviets took a they would get these Vietnam, like, they would shoot down planes, basically John McCain, right? But but they would take some of these Americans from Vietnam to the Soviet Union, which I think actually did happen. That part is not fiction. But they created something called a charm school. They created these American cities outside Moscow, like, that were hidden. And they would make these American POWs train Russian children that they would raise to almost be Americans living in these American cities so that these kids would know, like, baseball stats, like, things that only Americans would
Right.
know, right?
Right.
And they would effectively live in, like, some Russian village, but the village was built like, some small town USA with a main street with just a normal town, and then as adults, they would be sent here. And
Did you see there was a thing in the New York Times that was, like, kind of about this, about how then they would send people to South America. Like, they
well,
would send Russians as part of the
that
illegal program to South America to, like, become South Americans
that's
so that
what they did here. No, no,
when they
no.
came to America that, like, they would be
Well, the
not
people
Russian, they'd be, like, Venezuelan or whatever, you know?
Well, but they also once you read I know about this program that you
Yeah,
read
yeah.
this book. These were Americans who were like, I mean, they were Russians, but they were as American as we are
Yeah,
having these kinds of discussions named like Mr. and Mrs. Smith basically, and it was only when they got busted
right,
that they realized that they are and they're called illegals because they don't have the cover of being a diplomat or being a spy or anything.
right.
Like they're literally sent here to fend for themselves. It's like the show The Americans.
Are these
Rachel
people still here? Yes,
so
there's probably
Rachel
more now.
Rachel, I am sure they're still here. I mean,
Mhm.
a lot of them got busted. Anna Chapman was a very famous one who got busted. Her name was Anna Chapman. But yes, some of these people I'm positive are still here.
Mhm.
And we should all read this book.
Yeah, listen.
We should all read this book. So let's do this. Let's get this book. Let's all read it. Let's set up a book club. Let's meet once a week. Let's talk about this book. Anybody who wants to.
Yep.
And we'll go from there.
Alright, cool.
Okay.
Should we I'm never on Substack.
No,
Should
no,
I
no. What I'm
be?
going to do is we're going to do lives. But what I mean is the three of us should get together and figure out a time when we
Okay,
can all do it. And then we'll do it. And if anybody wants to do it, let's all do it together. We'll have a whole conversation.
fantastic.
But I'm thinking maybe Substack is not the best way to do it. Maybe Zoom is the best way to do it because
Or we can do it on YouTube, but with unlisted links that we just give to people. That's an option too. Because Zoom is hard because you have a cap with how many people can attend.
oh, okay, we'll figure it out. All
Yeah.
right, folks.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Stay
See ya.
safe. Stay safe.
Oh wait, we
Bye.
can even get out of here with Frederick's not being. We're gonna try.
I'm
We're
just
gonna
gonna
try.
X out. I'm just
All
gonna
right.
X out. Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye.